So, guys, I just want to do a quick one with you tonight on what I have referred to now as paid protesters. And I know that people have also, they heard that before, paid protesters. But mostly, whenever you think of paid protesters, you would think of, George Soros pumping in a bunch of paid protesters over there in St. Louis, and for that one. And, there's a million of them. Okay, so those are paid protesters, and they were supposedly paid $15 an hour. And I look for stuff like that. You can look on the internet, and I do that. And I look for paid protester sites, where they're looking for, like in Nashville, for instance, they're looking for some paid protesters for some upcoming events. Okay, and they're all over the country. They do these things. Okay, but the other paid protesters that I wanted to tell you about were the most ones that you see. Okay, the most people that you see there that are there. Okay, those are paid protesters as well. And you're like, no, they just came on their own volition. They're here on no, they're also paid because these riots have now lasted 2, 3, 4 days. Okay, some places. And whenever you can be away for 3 or 4 days from your home and be able to afford to still get, water and do whatever you have to do, or some of these people just go home during the day and come back at night, let's be honest. It's all for the cameras. But what I mean is that you're funded. And who are you funded by? Well, apparently the American taxpayer. Because, on your kids' backs, that trillions of dollars was stolen. And their kids, too. Forever we're in debt now. Forever, ever. So it won't be paid back. And that means that you're a slave. So, these paid protesters are being paid by you and me. Because we work. If you do. And that's what I had for you guys, man. I mean, it's unbelievable to me, really, that you could actually stand out there and protest a fake hoax, and even if it wasn't, even if that was real, they sure did have cameras on it, and it was in HD, and it, pretty much, and everything looks staged, and, but even if it wasn't, guys, and like I had said before, we tried to show, and every one of us tried to spread that old man getting beat. And I know I harp on this, but it's worth saying. And, that's ridiculous that didn't really cause anything. But this hoax of a black man death and the armed robbery guy, that guy, it's funny to me. His name, it's a meme now, but it's just funny. So anyway, those, that's national. That's still ongoing. And it's just fueling the fire of ridiculous, tribal games, guys. It's like what you got to think. They make the movies for the goys so they can get their shiksas and their power bottom boys in Hollywood from all across the country and the world. And they bring them to this, they bring them here to this country, and they're in the country. And what do? They make them think they're going to be stars, and what, like 1% of all the people that show up in Hollywood through all the different means, 1% of them will ever be seen on screen, the big screen. Because what happens to most of them, They don't leave LA. They're already out there, and they're in the drug culture, and they think they're going to be actors, and they're getting strung along. And that's what happens. They get caught up, and they get in porno, and their lives are destroyed. Chasing wanting to be on the screens. And so that's why I was talking about this tonight with the paid protesters, tricks on words, but the truth of the matter is they are being paid. And it's all funded, guys. The whole thing is funded by all those billions and trillions of dollars they stole. Okay? and fiat currency they made out of thin air, and it's just debt on you and me forever. I want you guys to think about that. I know a lot of you do, but really give it a thought, guys. Try to imagine that every time a baby's born in this country, that the debt on their head is not going to be able to be paid, you know, with the slave wages that they have you on. So, hey, sorry about the black pill there, but that's what I have for tonight. And I know it's disjointed, but I think that's what you guys like, because inside of all that ridiculousness, there's some truth in there. So, we'll see what we see with all this, but let's get it together.